Hey guys, what's going on? And welcome to The Last Word. Thanks for tuning in. We have a great show for you today. Today is the mock draft edition. So this is the Last Word mock draft edition, and we have our guest, the one, the only, Synergy Recruiter. What's up, Synergy Recruiter?
Not much. Just excited to get year 2020, the 25th season in Synergy history, off and running.
Listen, we have a great draft that's coming. There's a lot of big names and a lot of people moving up, moving down, trying to make trades to get up. Teams that are contenders and not contenders looking for the next step in their teams and the next step in their franchises to get to the next level where the Cardinals and the Chargers have been. They're always trying to go for the top. They're always, cutthroat when it comes to the draft, trying to, reach, trying to get good picks. And I'm looking forward to hearing your expertise when it comes to the draft, because usually you're pretty good in the pinpointing where people are going and getting some inside scoop. So I'm gonna go ahead and give the mic to you and go all out. I want to hear what's the scoop and what are you hearing inside these franchises and what type of player they need, and is there one out there for them? Because sometimes they might not be a draft where if you need a wide receiver, they're just boss wide receivers. Just let us know first of all, what type of draft is this? Is this a quarterback draft heavy? Is this a linebacker draft heavy? Is it more offense, more defense? What are you seeing out there?
So I'm seeing a complete different draft from last year. Last year there was a lot of movement, and because there was like 8 different young quarterbacks in the draft, if I remember. There was a boatload of them, so there's a lot of shuffling and moving in the draft, trading. This one, there's not a lot of trading going on, which isn't a bad thing. It's just there's not a lot of speed that a lot of people usually like, not a lot of high flying skill positions out there. I really see this being a lot of linemen going. I think people are going to start solidifying their line in this draft. There's a lot of linebackers out there as well, so I could see, linebacker going early and linemen going early, as well as I see there's a couple quarterbacks that may sneak up in the top end of the draft, but if they don't go early, they could slide all the way to the back of the draft because there's really not a lot of teams going for quarterbacks after last year's draft, and then who's already been on the NFL draft prior to last season. So a lot of teams in the NFL and the Synergy League already have young quarterbacks, so that's a position I could see, falling to the back end. But what I do see is a lot of linemen going in linemen that probably wouldn't necessarily normally go in the first round, creep up towards the back end and get in there.
Okay, okay. Now, I see you're right with a lot of teams, but there's still a lot of teams out there with older quarterbacks. You have like the Bears, the Packers. You have some teams that still like Drew Brees still playing. Is there which quarterback? Because this is one of the most important positions in this league or any Madden period. I mean, as you can see, there's five or six quarterbacks projected to go. Do you see a quarterback might be, if they're slipping, where would they slip in? What team do you see one of these quarterbacks going to?
Well, right off the bat, I could see at the top of the draft, I could see the Colts going for a quarterback. They let Andrew Luck go in the off season. They didn't feel he was worth the 20 $25 million contract that he was getting. But if he doesn't go quarterback at number two, I could see nobody going quarterback until like around the 20th. Originally, I was thinking that the Packers would go for quarterback, but coming closer to the draft time, I'm starting to see the coach talk about going Aaron Rodgers. He wants one last final run at trying to get his Super Bowl ring. So I see them, not going for quarterback. Um, and then you talked about the Saints and Drew Brees. Drew Brees is up there, he's in his 40s, but they drafted his replacement last year, who got a lot of playing time this year. He was up there for the Rookie of the Year, if I'm not mistaken. Another team who I saw let go surprising. This was a surprising position that they let go is the Dallas Cowboys. They didn't sign Dak Prescott in the
Yes,
offseason, and he
I
is in free
saw that.
agency.
That was a huge surprise. I did not expect that. It came out of left field. Because I mean,
Yeah,
you would think. I mean, he's only 80. What is it? 84 overall. I don't think he's expecting the 100 mil that normal quarterbacks ask for. I mean, Russell Wilson got a 20 mil deal a year, but he's a 94 overall quarterback. I mean, these quarterbacks are asking. What do you think? These quarterbacks are asking for too much money?
absolutely. And with the Cowboys, you know that they're a running team, so they already have their line solidified, and they have their back of the future. So they could probably are looking to go cheaper at the quarterback position because they're a running team. So that's somewhere they could save some money and maybe start solidifying on the defensive side of the ball.
Well, maybe they should have
But
tried. I mean, Dak Prescott only went for 10 mil 4 years. That is a real
yeah, and I'm
cheap
surprised.
deal to the Panthers.
Yeah, who also has Cam Newton, who's been on the trading block. So there might be some movements at the quarterback position over there in Carolina, which is one team who has been making noise in the offseason. He's been doing some trading. He's been definitely signed a bunch of players in free agency. He's really bringing that Panthers organization to his own.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, are we going to see a quarterback battle between Dak Prescott and Cam Newton? I mean, with a cheap deal like 10 mil a year, of course, you would try to move this, big contract from Cam Newton, but Cam Newton is still great with the 97 throw power. He still has 85 speed. I mean, there could be a market for him, wouldn't you think?
Yeah, absolutely. There's already talk about on the trade block that Cam's up for grabs if the right price comes along. But I could absolutely see him riding him out this season. He came back from behind and won a lot of games for him last year, just missing out on the playoffs. And knowing that he got Dak Prescott cheap, he doesn't need to, go to Dak Prescott early. But if they start struggling, I could see a quarterback change, and I could see Cam Newton be on the move early. The
That's
problem with
true.
that though is, like we were talking earlier, a lot of teams already have their quarterback of the future.
That is true. That is true. Well, Cam Newton is a free agent next year, so chances are that the Panthers are going to stick with Dak Prescott.
Yeah, I agree.
All
I
right,
think Dak Prescott is the Panthers quarterback of the future.
which is crazy because Dak Prescott comes in Madden young, and you would think that he would ride out the a franchise because he's pretty good pretty good quarterback, and pretty young when starting in Madden. And quarterbacks can go all the way to 35 before completely regressing. I mean, so they do have a long shelf life. It's just weird
Yeah,
to see this happening because he didn't do this last Madden, right? He kept Dak Prescott for a while.
yeah. He definitely ran with him for quite a while, but um, he could see that he's not, the coach, his playbook isn't maybe much for a running quarterback, which Dak Prescott is. He needs to get these pinpoint passes. Sometimes Dak Prescott overthrows it. Might turn over the ball quite a bit. And just wants to get a pocket passer. Tall pocket passer, not someone out there running around scrambling.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Okay, so we're done with the quarterbacks. Who do you think is? I mean, let's go. Let's go ahead and go down the list and talk about just the first round. And I mean, with the Jets with the first overall pick. I mean, who do you have going first overall?
Well, this could hopefully be the draft that turns around the Jets organization. They have the first pick in every round. Then they also have two picks in the top 10 at number 1 and number 7. And so they essentially have three first round picks. When you're thinking pick 33 in the second round, they could get a first round player there. So they could start solidifying their team. I know that I've talked to some coaches around the league, and the Jets is looking to solidify maybe going linebacker early. So he's debating whether he should solidify his linemen or go with linebackers. And there's a great lineman right at number 1, but he also has pick 7, and he wants to go linebacker, I think, with some speed. So look for a fast linebacker to go early, and him to maybe start solidifying his line with the next pick, and maybe in the 2nd round.
Okay, okay. All right. And
And then
okay, go ahead.
nope, sorry.
Okay, so you have the which linebacker do you think is going to go first overall then if he's going to go linebacker? Do you have any names?
Well, I believe Morris Robinson, number 6 overall, had the best collegiate career last year. But when you look at his combine grades, they are not Madden liked, So
Okay.
I'm looking for him to go with a fast one, maybe the right outside linebacker out of Stanford, who's more of a passer and he's young. He has a 4.640 as the number 1 overall 40 dash for outside linebackers. He has the first overall 3-cone and a 20-yard shuttle, which is pretty big for linebackers.
Yes, it
He's
is.
rated lower, but he has some good Madden stats. I could see him going 1.
Okay, okay. Now we talked about the Colts maybe grabbing a quarterback. Are we looking at what type of quarterback do you think? I mean, you got to replace Andrew Luck. That's no easy task. What do you do?
Well, at the top of the draft, there's a quarterback out of Florida State with a strong arm and high throw power.
Okay.
So, I mean, I would go that route. But then again, he just let go Andrew Luck, who's a pocket passer. So maybe he's thinking about getting a quarterback with some speed, and he might want to go with Anthony Larson out of Miami, who's a scrambler. Those are a couple things that he's going to have to pick and choose. Does he want a pocket passer or a scrambler? Those are the 2 top-rated quarterbacks now. I do believe he's going to go quarterback, though, if he's letting Andrew Luck go in the free agency.
I do agree. I do agree. All right, with the Jags going number 3, I mean they what type of news are you hearing from them?
Well, what I'm hearing from them, and they have a pretty solid all-around team. They picked up their future quarterback who replaced Blake Bortles in last draft, so I think they're going to try to solidify their line and keep him upright. He threw a lot of interceptions. He was running all over the field last season. So I think if I think the Jets are going to go linebacker first and not lineman, then I could see Jags going with the number 1 overall lineman and left tackle out of Tennessee there, Lamar Carroll.
Okay, nice, nice. All right, the Texans at number 4. Who you got?
I think the Texans, I think this is where some linemen are going to start falling off the board. I see a lot of linemen and linebackers going early and often in this draft. And just like the Jags quarterback was running for his life, throwing a lot of interceptions, the Texans as well was throwing a lot of interceptions. It was getting scattered back there. So I could see him going lineman too.
Well,
Not too many. He's probably going to go left tackle as well.
now we talked about that's done. Now we talked early in the season. The Texans were announcing that Deshaun Watson was placed on the block for a very short time, looking to replace him as quarterback, or if any things are going on. Those are just the rumors that are going on. I mean, are they satisfied with Watson? Is this just an attempt to, hey, you know what, let's give him another shot and let's actually give him something to work with?
Yeah, no, the Texans were absolutely not satisfied with him last year, but I think it was more so the play calling, and we need to get the right play calling going for Deshaun Watson over there. But yeah, you could see, they might decide to draft a quarterback and start grooming him early as well. Maybe he wants to go Anthony Larson, the Scramblers, um, because Deshaun Watson was absolutely terrible last season. But he's still young, still great stats. And like I said, I think it was more the play calling. So I think that's why they're going to go lineman and try to solidify the line so he's not doing as much running around back there and just throwing it up for a prayer and hoping DeAndre Hopkins come down with it.
That is very true. That is very true. You don't you don't you can't expect quarterback to do something if he can't throw anywhere. If he doesn't have no time. I mean, we've seen it here. I mean, we saw it in the Super Bowl. When you got no time, you get sacked, and that's it.
Yeah.
Now, going to the next one, the Patriots. We haven't heard much about the Patriots. It's a more quiet organization. They like to keep things hush hush, so that way they don't give too much information out. But what do you see them doing?
I see the coach just taking over just like Bill Belichick, man. He just keeps it in house, keeps it quiet, keeps it to himself. But I expect him to make noise this year. I expect him to be in the playoff hunt. And I think the AFC East may be the division in the AFC that comes away with 3 playoff teams this year. And I think he's going to go after a fast linebacker early. One that's not rated so highly, but one that's definitely rated, had a great 40 time at the combine, and his other stats are like the other linebackers going to go number 1, I think. So I believe he's going to go linebacker, and I will look for him to take Antoine Ingram out of Ole Miss.
Nice, nice. All right, so now the Redskins didn't have a great season. Obviously, they're in the top 10 picks. What do you see from that organization?
Yeah, so it's the same thing, like how last year everyone went for their quarterbacks. They all got young quarterbacks. So now I think this is going to be the draft where everyone's going to try to get some people to protect them and go for linemen. The Redskins, they have some good linemen on the left side, with Trent Williams, but they let some linemen go, and I believe that they're going to go linemen as well because they don't have a guard. Their center is not highly rated. So I see them deciding who they feel is the best lineman. If I was them, like I said, they don't have a guard, so I'd be looking at the guard, and I would probably go the top-rated guard in Darren McKinnon, which came from a good program out of Notre Dame.
Okay, nice, nice. All right, so we already talked about the Jets probably going with a lineman if they go quarterback first.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the Raiders then. The Raiders, I mean, they're in a tough division over there. How do they move forward? How do they get competitive? What do they need over there?
The Raiders need a lot of help, so they really need corners. But like we talked about, there's not a lot of good corners in the draft. There's definitely not a lot of speed in this draft. But they need defense because that whole division is graded offense. The Chargers, the Super Bowl winner. The Broncos as a former MVP quarterback. Then you have the Chiefs who have Tyreek Hill and the fast-moving offense. And with no corners really willing to take that high, I think they're going to go linebacker. And I think they're going to get the highest-rated linebacker. His stats aren't the greatest, but like I said, he had the greatest college career. I believe he was maybe even the Heisman. Don't quote me on that, but I think that the Raiders are going to go with Morris Robinson, linebacker out of Michigan State.
Okay, nice. Now we got the next team, and we have the Steelers. Steelers, what do you see from them?
So I think the Steelers are going to surprise some people with this pick, and they're gonna go defensive line.
Okay.
And there's really not many defensive ends out there, and I hear they're going to try to look for the defensive lineman out of Illinois State, which is a little known program. So I think that's why he's rated towards the end of the first round. But he does have a first round grade, and he is a speed rusher, and that's who the Steelers, they want to get after the quarterbacks in their division. I think they're going to go with Walker Folston out of Illinois State.
Okay. Oh, sorry. Okay, nice. All right, in the same division, you have the next team is Browns. What are they looking to do?
Yeah, so the Browns, man, they already have a good team. I'm not really sure where they're going. Their defense is young. They've already had a lot of, high draft picks the last few years. I think that they're probably going to go linemen and try to protect Baker Mayfield. And I look for them to probably solidify up the middle, maybe go with a guard themselves. Looks like
Okay.
there might be one out of Louisville, a pass protector who looked pretty decent. He did the best in the bench press in the combine, and that's always good for strength. So I believe he's going to be a strong lineman, and hopefully help protect Baker Mayfield and Nick Chubb going up the middle, who were some big picks not too long ago for the Browns.
That is true. That is a good idea. All right, next again the Texans. They already went lineman. I mean, what do you see them? What is their another fix that they need to get this game going?
Well, the Texans have a great defense already, so I think they're going to stay on the offensive side of the ball. And how we talked about, there's not a lot of speed and good receivers in this draft. And they already have DeAndre Hopkins. They already have a fast receiver and Will Fuller that they don't use like they should. I believe they're going to try to maybe find a good tight end and maybe see if they can't get him in the passing game because they go to DeAndre Hopkins a little too much.
Okay.
And I think they might go with the guy out of Wisconsin who has all the top 340 times, and his name is Kendrick Octavian. Look for him to do big things in Houston.
Okay.
They're looking
Okay.
for big things out of him.
Well, let's see if they can snag him. Next, we have the Falcons. I mean, HBO. He likes to make noise now. What kind of noise would he make in the draft?
Yeah, so HBO. You never know where he's gonna go. He keeps it to himself there. He can surprise some people. I think someone's gonna really fall to him. I think he's gonna get a beast if he goes with defensive tackle and Trey Cruz. If the draft falls the way I see it, he's gonna get a steal of the draft. I wouldn't be surprised if someone would trade up to get this guy if he's fallen, and that's gonna be the D tackle out of Stanford, who's the number 4 rated player on the big board, going number 12 to the Falcons.
Okay, nice.
I could see the Falcons finding somebody with a lot of speed though and surprise somebody.
So just out of left field as well.
Yeah, HBO always coming out of left field.
That's true. The next one we got is the Giants. What are you looking from their camp?
Yeah, see, I'm not so sure. I haven't heard much from the Giants organization, but I think they may go with the first cornerback in the draft, which is surprising that a cornerback is getting picked first this far in the draft. They're normally in the top 10, going number 1 overall.
Yes.
I would look for him to maybe go with cornerback and Tremont Cole, the number 1 rated cornerback. They got rid of their corners a couple seasons ago. I think they need to start solidifying that position again. So look for him to get the top rated corner in the draft.
Okay, okay. Now, who we have next? Who we have next
Yeah,
is the
so
Raiders again. And what do you think they're going to be
Yep.
doing? I mean, you already told us that they're going to be going more defense. Are they going to stick with defense?
I think they need to get some offensive firepower as well. So, but since we don't have many wide receivers and looking at their team, they're lacking a tight end. So, I think they're going to look to go to a tight end. And originally I had them mocked to go with tight end Paul Horton, but I think they would be better served if they went with tight end Fisher Franklin. I'm hearing big things in the newspaper for this guy.
Okay, okay.
So I would look for him to go tight end and Fisher Franklin.
All right. So
It's not
next,
the idea.
okay,
It's
go
not
ahead.
the ideal position for the Raiders, but I think with the way the board's going, that might be the best bet for them.
All right. Now next we got the Bucks. I mean the Bucks in the mid card try to, but that's a tough division out there. I mean, what are you hearing from them?
I'm hearing that he's gonna go. He's looking at defense over there, and he needs to stop the New Orleans Saints. You know, high flying offense. Then you got the Panthers who are high flying as well. I think he's gonna go defensive back, and I think he's gonna be taking cornerback and Curry Mingo.
Okay, okay. Next we got the Panthers made a big splash, uh, and now with the Dak Prescott signing, you know they don't need a quarterback. They got two good ones. How do they start building around those franchise guys?
I could see him going speed and another cornerback coming off the board. Like I said, you got to stop the New Orleans Saints in their passing attack. So I could see him going cornerback and getting going speed and going for Patrick Warford. Not highly rated, but he had a good 40 time. So I could see him going there.
Okay.
Patrick Warford.
All right. Next we have the Ravens. What are you hearing from that camp? The Ravens are are usually a contender. Missed the playoffs last season, but how do they get back?
Yeah, so the Ravens they're right there on the cusp of a playoff team, playoff contender. I think they're going to try to go defensive backfield and go with safety with Martavis Vanover. He has a great 40 time as well, and I could see this part of the draft is where a lot of defensive backs have been going. They continue that trend and going Martavius Vanover.
Martavius and okay, all right. And then the Broncos. The Broncos, got to the playoffs, but got out early. So what are you looking for them? What's going on with them?
Oh, I think the Broncos are definitely going to go defense. I think they made a big mistake letting Von Miller go,
Yes,
and I could see them definitely going defense,
yes, yes. You're right.
and I could see them picking up going linebacker, but maybe even transition them down to the D line and hopefully get some pressure on them. Because like we were talking earlier, the Chargers have a great offense, the Chiefs have a great offense, and you're gonna have to stop the Chiefs for sure. You know, you can't give him time in the pocket to get to Tyreek Hill and the other fast backs over there. So I'm thinking he might go linebacker with Tremont Parsons.
Trayvon Parkins is nice. That would be a great pickup for him. Now the Dolphins. What do you see from them?
I think this could be where our first wide receiver surprisingly goes in the draft.
This
I haven't really
late?
heard much. Yeah, surprising, right?
Yeah. Wide receivers usually top 10.
Yeah, I mean, this is why we do a mock draft. I'm not highly impressed with any of the receivers, any of the corners in this draft. This is strictly like a lineman draft to me. You know, everyone got their quarterbacks last draft, and this is shocking that the first wide receiver off the board I have pegged to go number 20,
Wow, that's
and that's going to
crazy.
be a Cedric Macklin, wide receiver. Cedric Macklin out of Indiana, surprise pick. This is
Perfect.
going to be the combine warrior who surprises everybody, and somebody's going to try to steal him in the first round.
Oh, really? Okay. I mean, you never know. I mean, someone might go combine and not really worried about the stats. They just want that speed. So you never
There's
know.
always that one guy who's good in shorts and t-shirt, and then when you get him on the field, we'll
That's
see what he can do.
that's true. That's true. Completely different game time versus just combine. Now, the next one we got is the Eagles. I mean, talking a lot of trash about they should have made the playoffs, which they did, and people saying that he should have made the playoffs. A lot of controversy back and forth, but he did make playoffs. I mean, how does he continue this trend of keep staying in the playoffs?
I think at this point in the draft and the way it's going, I think he's going to have to solidify his line and get up the middle with a guard because he already has, his team coming into Madden is a very good team
Yep,
with not a lot of holes.
you're right.
So the way the draft is falling, I think lineman is going to be the best route for him to go and
Okay.
solidify up the middle so they can protect Carson Wentz and
I can see that happening. I can see that happening.
go with the right guard Spencer Hudson.
Okay, Spencer Hudson going to the Eagles. All right, now the Seahawks, which was, just snuck into the playoffs as well, wasn't able to make a splash because he had to be out of town for the Thanksgiving weekend. But what do you see him in what he's doing over there?
I think the Seahawks are going to do what he always does and take the best player available. And I think at this point in the draft, when it gets to his pick at 22, the best player in the draft is probably going to be Daniel Gales, left outside linebacker.
Okay, all right. So you see
And that's
Gales
going to be
dropping
a
that
good,
far?
yeah, that's going to be a big pick for him. He's rated highly, but he doesn't have those good combine stats with the speed and that everyone likes. So I could see best player available and go that way.
Okay. So now we have we're further deeper into the 20s or early 20s, and we're getting closer to the end of the end of the first round. So what do you see the Chiefs doing at number 23?
I'm gonna say he's gonna be looking at he likes his speed, and I see him maybe going to safety position and picking up Dion Darkwa, who has a sub 4.540,
Oh, nice.
young, coming out of Ohio State,
Okay.
and I think he could be going Dion Darkwa.
Okay. Okay. De'Aaron Darkwa seems like a solid pick. Now, moving
I
on.
mean, he's
Okay, go
rated
ahead.
top 5 overall, so
Hey, I mean, the safety's hard to find nowadays because there are a lot of good safeties are getting older, losing speed, so you're gonna need to replace them soon. And Darkwa seems like a great pick for them. Now
absolutely I agree.
we have the Broncos at 24. What you got?
So I see, like we were talking earlier, that the Broncos, they've been talking that whole organization that their defense is just letting up way too many yards, way too many points. And to stay in the game, the guy had to throw for 4 or 5, shoot, I think even 600 yards passing because he was always falling behind.
Yeah,
I
you're
think
right.
he's gonna go. I think he's gonna go defense again. I think he's gonna
Okay.
go D tackle this time with a Ryan Murs, a little higher rated than he's supposed to go.
Oh wow.
But I think that's the best bet for him is to go defense
You think he'll
and to
he'll
solidify
he'll
that line.
you think he'll stretch it that far? Would he go that a little early?
That's what I'm banking on because he's gonna go defense. He already picked up his linebacker,
Okay.
and he's got some good stats.
All right. So the next one I got here we have is with the 25th pick, the Cowboys. You talked about the quarterback situation. I mean, who do you see them picking up?
Yeah, I mean the only other team that I see going quarterback really is the Colts. So if the Colts don't pick a quarterback in number 2,
Uh huh.
the Cowboys this deep in the draft could have his choice of quarterbacks. But like I think that the Colts are going to go Houston Kane early, the pocket passer. and I think that the Cowboys are going to go with somebody similar to Dak Prescott and go with the scrambler out of Miami, Anthony Larson.
Okay, okay. So you think he's more of a scrambling quarterback? Is that what the Cowboys need, or you think that they should go a different route?
I'm not so sure that's who the Cowboys need, or if that's who the Cowboys are going to go with after going with getting rid of Dak Prescott, which is a similar quarterback.
Okay.
But he's the highest rated quarterback on the board right now,
Uh huh.
and I think they might have let Dak Prescott go because he was asking for too much money.
Gotcha. Trying to groom a rookie. I see what you mean.
I think the Cowboys might want to try to get a younger quarterback still while they have that line to protect them.
That is true. And the Ezekiel Elliott keeps get fed. So as long as they feed him, that quarterback can be upright. Now moving on to the Bills, which had a disappointing end to their season, only scoring 3 points. I mean, are they going to try to help that offense out? Because going against these top-rated defense didn't pan out for him in the playoffs.
Yeah, I do think the Bills have a pretty solid team all around. They went to the Super Bowl year one. They're back in the playoffs year two and just lost to a man on a mission in the Chargers, who ended up winning the Super Bowl. They got a pretty solid team all around. They got Josh Allen. I see them going tight end in round one and picking up maybe Paul Horton.
Okay, okay. Now we have the Lions. The Lions thought he was going to be going to the Super Bowl, and he was upset. I mean, that team is not that great. What do you see? What do you see them going forward? A quarterback, or do you think is Matthew Stafford done? These are the ones that would be looking for a quarterback at this time, wouldn't they?
I would think so. So the Lions could definitely be the next team with a quarterback going off the board, but I think he likes to ride with the experienced quarterbacks and might take him, just like the Packers, try to get that championship on one more year. The Lions coach, he's good on defense and he loves a good linebacker. So I think he's gonna go linebacker and solidify his defense, which is his bread and butter, and maybe go middle linebacker, Steven Studebaker, which is a good pick.
Okay, all right. Now we have the Texans once again. I mean, 3 first-round picks. I know they traded J.J. Watt, and I believe this would be the pick that they traded for J.J. Watt. How do they make a big splash in trading J.J. Watt, and how do they make this pick count?
I think they're either gonna go running back because they let Lamar Miller go in free agency. They think that maybe they'll be able to get him back on a cheaper contract than what he wanted. He's not getting a lot of love out there in the free agent market, so they might try to bring him back. If they get him back, then maybe they won't go running back. They could be going defense, to solidify the back end of the defense. Because that's their A1 there. They have a lot of first-round picks, and I think they might go with one of the best players left in strong safety Sheldon Friedman.
Okay, okay. I can see that happening. Solidify I mean, if it's the defense when it comes to the Texans, they do need help in the secondary.
Yeah, I mean he's young. He come out of Penn State. I think they could do big things with him.
Okay, okay. Now let's look at the Saints. Had a good run, got to the AFC Championship. What are you looking for them to do?
Yeah. So the back end of this draft, I think that we're gonna see some people that won't normally get picked. Move up way high in the draft, just the way it's going. We were talking earlier that there's a
Yeah,
line. This is a
yeah.
lineman draft to me, and there's not a lot of speed in this draft. So we talked how the Saints, Drew Brees is getting old,
Yeah, he is.
but he got his young quarterback in the last draft. So I think he's gonna start solidifying his line to protect his young quarterback, who did well last year.
Okay.
And then the Saints, they've had a couple good drafts. Like what 2 years ago, their whole draft team was rated highly. So I think that they're going to protect the young quarterback, and I think they're going to surprise some people and go left tackle Marshall Bridges.
Oh, really? Gonna go left tackle. I mean, yeah, you got to protect your quarterback. Now, speaking about championships, the AFC Championship contender, the Bengals. I mean, what are you seeing from them?
I see the Bengals. You know, they picked up a young quarterback as well, and I could see them trying to protect the Bengals or try to protect their young quarterback. And Corey Pantel, who had a good year last year. Um, let's see here, who's going to be left on the board. Yeah, see this one's kind of just a shot in the dark, just because the way the draft is folding. They
Okay.
might go. Actually they let go of AJ Green. I
Yeah,
could
they
see
did.
them picking up a wide. I could see them picking up a wide receiver and
Okay, okay.
going Garrick Hale,
Garrett
who's
Cal.
another burner, similar to what's that, Ross,
Oh, okay. So instead of okay, I see what you're
John
saying.
Ross.
Maybe go with the number two receiver since they did let go of AJ Green, so they need another guy to impact it. I can see that happening. Yeah, yeah, definitely. Now we got the NFC championships, NFC champions, the the Rams. What are you hearing from their camp?
I'm not hearing much out of the Ram organization. I
Okay.
think he's still a little upset that he was lost the Super Bowl. I could see them going offensive lineman that way. But
Okay.
I also think maybe they go wide receiver too. Let me see how the board's falling here. There's not a lot of fast players out there. And
That's true.
I see a lot of people going linemen because that's just a sore position in a lot of people's organizations.
That is true.
But yeah,
So,
they got quite a few wide receivers. Yeah, so we're gonna say that they're gonna go. Let's see. Yeah, they need to solidify the insides of their offensive line, and I see them going with. They might be going with Dixon Cofield. I could see him going Nate Riddick. I'm gonna say they're probably gonna go Nate Riddick because they need to get the insides of their offense, a couple guards and a center.
okay,
So I'm
okay.
gonna I'm gonna peg the Rams to go Nate Riddick at the towards the end of the draft. A little higher than he's pegged, but that's the position of need for them.
Nice. And moving on to the final and 32nd pick of the first round, the Super Bowl champions Chargers. What are you hearing from them? I mean, what are their camps saying?
What I'm hearing from them is that at that point in the draft, they're probably going to be looking to solidify their offensive line as well. I mean, their team's pretty stacked all around. They have the fast wide receivers, their defense is stacked, shut down everybody's top receiver in the playoffs on the way to the Super Bowl run. So I see them solidifying their offensive line and going tackle, maybe Dixon Cofield, maybe another tackle, Kevin Hutchins might be on their radar.
Okay, okay.
These guys are going to go a little higher than they're rated, but that's a position in need right now as a lineman. That's where I see this draft going, like I said. So we might as well end it with a lineman.
All right. I mean, we have at least half of the league going for offensive line if this draft goes the way we think it is, and it looks like a nice chunk of linemen are going to be taken in the first round. So whoever has second round picks, I mean, doesn't look much for offensive linemen. Might as well go somewhere else with some effects.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's where people are going to start taking chances because looking at this board in last year's draft, so almost everybody last year got the quarterback that they wanted. You know, the year before that, there was a lot of young quarterbacks coming out. So quarterbacks, you know, are not going to be in abundance this draft. The fast wide receivers, you know, not really there. Fast corners, the cornerback market is terrible this year.
Yeah, yeah, it is.
You know, so I see, you know, the linebackers and linemen going. You know, there's really not even any defensive line. Only a couple first round grades.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Gotcha. Well, well, what's your final thought of this draft? What do you any surprising things that we need to be on the lookout for?
I don't see there's gonna be much fireworks beginning the draft, but if people start falling, I could see some trades maybe happening during the draft to try to move up and get some people in need. Because if the draft works out the way that I'm saying, there's gonna be some linemen that aren't rated that high to where people might try to come up and get some people with speed who, you know, are rated third, fourth, fifth, sixth round
Yeah,
grades.
yeah, yeah.
That, you know, are those combine workouts, you know, those Madden warriors where people just want the speed and can do whatever they want with it, and hopefully they can produce.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Okay, thanks for Synergy Recruiter for coming out. He's one of the best at the game, figuring out the draft. He's pretty skilled when it comes to Madden. So I just want to thank you for coming on the show, and thanks for coming on the last word.
The last word!
Yeah, thanks for having me, and I want to thank thegamergloves.com for sponsoring us, and use SFL15 for 15% off your gaming gloves. And I also want to thank LeagueCrawler.com, who's always supporting Synergy League and is getting big in the Madden community. So if you're interested, you can check out his free site.
Okay, okay. All right, appreciate your time here. This has been the last word. Until next time, guys. We'll see how the draft folds, and then we'll talk about it. All right, we'll see you later.
Hold up.